Welcome to Ask and Learn.
So here we have 3 blocks, A, B, and C, and we're given the weights for each one. Weight A is 12 pounds, B and C are 15 pounds each, and B and C are exactly 4 feet away in the X direction from block A. We want to find the distance that A travels when it's released from rest. And it's going to travel a certain distance, Y, before it stops. So since we're dealing with weights and distance, weight is a force, so we can use the equation for work. And since there's movement involved, there's some sort of kinetic energy. So we can use the weight or the work energy principle, which is the initial kinetic energy plus the work being done by the forces is equal to the final kinetic energy. But initially, all 3 blocks are not moving before block A is released. So that means the initial kinetic energy is 0. And then block A is going to slide down a certain distance and then stop. So there's no movement again. So its final kinetic energy is 0 as well. So all we're really left with is just the work being done by the forces is equal to 0. So let's think about the forces in this problem. So we have the force due to the weight of block A. So we have weight A times the distance it travels, Y, which is what we're trying to find. And then now we have the weight of B and C in the opposite direction of A because it's trying to slow down A. So since the forces are in the opposite direction, the work being done by those forces is in the opposite direction as well. So we have minus, and since the weights are the same, we have 2 times 15 times, but we don't know the distance it travels, that's not given. But we can say that the distance it travels is some value, which we'll call A, we don't know it, minus 4. 4 we do know. 4 is the horizontal distance. So now let's look at A. Well, we can just use the distance formula, and that's just the square root of x squared plus y squared. X squared we do know as 4, so that's 4 squared, and then y squared square root. So then work now becomes WA times y minus, and then 2 times 15 is 30 times, and then plugging in A, the square root of y squared plus 4 squared, and then minus 4. And then, of course, all of this equals 0. So now let's plug in some numbers. So we have, well, the weight due to block A is 12. So here we have 12y, and the stuff over here we can move to the other side. So we have 12y is equal to 30 distributed to the first one, square root of y squared plus 4 squared minus, and then distribute the negative 30 to the 30 to the negative 4. So we have minus 120. Okay, now divide the whole thing by 30. So we have 0.4y is equal to, this stays the same, well, the 30 gets taken away, 4 squared square root minus, and then this becomes just 4. So now let's move that 4 to the other side, and then take the square of both sides to get rid of that square root. So we have 0.4y plus 4 squared, is equal to y squared plus 4 squared is 16. Okay, so now this left side, when we factor everything, we get 0.16 y squared plus 3.2 y plus 16 is equal to y squared plus 16. As you can see, that 16's cancel, and we can subtract minus y squared to both sides. So we're left with, we have a negative 0.84, but now let's multiply by negative 1 to get rid of that. So it's positive 0.84 y squared, and then this becomes minus 3.2 y equal to 0. So now we got to use the quadratic formula. So y is equal to 3.2, positive 3.2, plus or minus 3.2 squared minus 4 times 0.84, all of this square root, and this whole thing divided by 2 times 0.84. So when you plug all this into a calculator, you have the distance y that block A travels is 3.5 feet.